Do you have a tendency to want everybody to like you? I know I have had that, and I still have that. Today I'm going to be talking about the empath paradox, which is the more we try to get people to like us, the less they can actually like us, because the less we're actually being ourselves, and therefore the less they know who we truly are. I'm going to be discussing people pleasing today, kind of where it comes from and the mechanics of it. Then at the end, I'm going to be doing some affirmations to start to release the tendency to do this. But first, we need to get into kind of where it comes from and why. I have always, ever since I was a little kid, been extremely sensitive. And because I was so sensitive, I can also kind of feel other people and I can feel their perceptions. So if someone's mad at me or someone was mad at me, especially growing up, and I did get in a lot of trouble, I could feel that very easily. And as kids, we tend to personalize and internalize everything. Does this make sense? I got this, at least in large part, from my mother. My mother is very similar, and she was a very big people pleaser. And she used to tell me this story about how when she would date guys, she could never actually break up with them because she didn't want to hurt their feelings. So what she would do is she would just start being busy all the time. Like the guy would call and be like, can you go out this weekend? And she'd say no, and she'd have an excuse. And then he'd be like, okay. And then he'd ask her like later, can you go out this other night? And then no, and she'd have an excuse, and she'd have an excuse, and she'd have an excuse, until finally the guy picked up on the message that she didn't want to see him anymore, which comes from a very innocent place, but it's also totally fucked up because it's not honest. There's no boundary in it. You're dragging somebody else along. You're wasting their time, and it's not intentional, but this is what we do when we can't just say no. And we can't say no. Why? Because we want everybody to like us. But here's the thing. If everyone likes you, nobody likes you, because nobody knows who you are. You are whoever they want you to be. It is literally impossible to get everybody to like you. It can't be done. It's not even supposed to be done. Because we evolve through polarity, and we're now coming into a time where things are harmonizing more and more and more, but that doesn't mean we don't have differentiation and we don't have our own authentic selves. So when you are your true self and you say something that pisses somebody else off, you're triggering something in them that has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. They now have the opportunity to consciously look at that or not. You are actually helping to lead them to care about themselves and understand themselves more, which is more of a reason to actually like you, though they may never put this together, and a lot of people won't. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to consider other people before we speak. I mean, of course we do, but only to an extent. Empaths, people pleasers tend to not say anything because they're afraid somebody's going to get mad at them. That's much different than, just blatantly going around and berating everybody. But my point is, ultimately, we're all responsible for our own emotional responses and reactions, not other people. By triggering other people, not on purpose, not by being contentious and combative, but just by being who you naturally are, is a gift to them and to yourself. And what it also does is, without even, it's important to set boundaries by saying no and getting rid of the people that don't belong in your life anymore. But just by being yourself, you're going to start to push away the people that don't resonate. And you're going to clear that out of your space, because you can't be friends with everyone. You can't be in a romantic relationship with the whole world. Probably only one person. So if you're people pleasing all the time and you're not pushing anyone away that doesn't resonate with you, you're not going to find your perfect person or your perfect friends. Because your perfect friends are going to resonate with you, not the fake you, not the mask you, right? Where does people pleasing come from? It comes from a lot of places, but generally it comes from childhood trauma. It comes from feeling like we didn't get the love that we wanted as children. It's a really important wound to look at, the mother wound, between like 0 and 5 or 6 years of age. I spent many years researching this and healing this in myself, and I'll do like a mother wound video at another point in time. But it tends to come from wanting to get our mother's love and approval and not being able to, or just not even thinking that we were able to, because as kids, like, you know, if the mother's not there for like 10 minutes because she's in another room, sometimes we can feel deeply abandoned and rejected. And just we never let go of that pattern. Or, you know, when we were developing in the womb, our mother may have been in trauma or depression. Like my mother was going through a death. So I was very wanted and very loved, but I was baking essentially in the womb in my mother's fear and grief of losing her father, who died like a few weeks after I was born, which caused this sort of broken connection between us because of all the pain that I kind of took on. And it also made it so that my entire life, one of the primary things I've had to work through is the coupling of love and loss. So anytime I would go to feel love for anyone, it's like I would immediately assume the loss. And it led to a lot of shutdown and not being able to open up, because it's like, well, this person's going to leave anyway, because that was my experience in the womb. This intense love, and it, you know, was dying. Her father was dying. And I inherited that, which definitely is going to, you know, contribute to people pleasing, because it's like I want everyone to love me as much as possible, because subconsciously I'm terrified that I'm going to lose. And I'm not, you know, if we don't get conscious about where these things come from, we just act them out with everyone else. And these deep, like early childhood wounds are a big part of where the people pleasing comes from. And then we're trying to get that from everyone in our lives all the time. It's just that the love from the mother, which we can get from, you know, healing our relationship with our mother internally, or, you know, using the divine mother and giving that love to ourselves. Ultimately, that's the solution. But we can't ever get everybody to like us. So how can we begin to see like people getting frustrated at us for speaking our truth as an honor? Because here's the thing too. If someone that you hardly know doesn't like you, they don't not like you. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you. Even people who've known you for years don't really know all of you. All that you are, the multidimensional being, the soul version of you. Byron Katie says no two people have ever met, because on some level we're all each other's projection. But definitely, if you hardly know someone. So I want to take a moment and just do like a few affirmations with, and just intend to clear some of these old like people-pleasing patterns. I would highly recommend looking into very early childhood, like womb to 5, 6 years old. And I will do more. I'll do a big video on that at some point. But just for now, so just notice your feet a little bit, notice your hands, notice your body. Notice the helicopter. And just repeat after me if it's comfortable. We're going to start with, I give myself permission to be my true self in every moment. You can tap. Sometimes you can do tapping. I don't know if you know tapping. You tap here, you tap here. You don't have to, but just kind of tap on these. I'm not going to do a whole tapping thing, but if you know tapping, you can do tapping. If not, it doesn't matter. I give myself permission to be my true self in every moment. And just notice your body a little bit. Notice the integration of the affirmation into your nervous system. What I have to say matters. My voice matters. I give myself permission to speak my truth. And not only is it okay if people don't like that, but I take it as a compliment. If I am being my true, honest self to the best of my ability and other people don't like it, I'm grateful for giving them the opportunity to heal themselves. It is not my responsibility to heal anyone else but myself, but I understand that by being my true self, I may trigger other people to have to find their true self, and that's okay. And I'm just going to do a quick clearing, like give permission for your higher self, your soul, to clear any and all patterns, contracts, oaths, commitments, traumas to being and around being a people pleaser. From this point forward, I release all patterns and habits and contracts with people pleasing. And just notice what happens. Give your higher self permission to clear this. There's any and all time, space, dimensions, lifetimes, levels, layers. And just let it go and just notice it. I give myself permission to release my habit patterns and attachments to people pleasing, approval, and validation from others. I choose to be my true self in honesty, authenticity, and integrity. Go to notice your hands, notice your legs a little bit, notice your feet. It might bring up some stuff, it might bring up some fear. Just give permission for these things to slowly release and unravel. And you can kind of repeat these affirmations or make up your own. It just helps to bring awareness into this a little bit and to intend to clear it. Please leave any comments below. Let me know if this helped, if you have any other questions. I have a free energy clearing. It's about 20 minutes. There's a link in the description below. You can download it. It's pretty powerful. So I would give yourself, a little bit of time, like an hour or two, like after you do it, to just be able to rest and relax. It's not like, it's very gentle, but it is pretty profound, I hope. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.